Today's video is a sequence of releases for your lower back and your hips. Definitely, we all have different places where we tend to hold tension in our bodies, and I find that especially when things are feeling more stressed in the world in our days, that those areas will often want a little more attention. So we'll work on your low back and we'll work on your glutes. And you can use, I'm using the travel roller balls again, this set of 3. We have different firmnesses. So we have a soft one, a medium, and a firmer one. You can use a tennis ball, something that's not too firm. A lacrosse ball is a little too much. And the dog might also decide he wants to be in the video. So you're going to start by lying on your back. If you want a pillow under your head, have a pillow under your head. And then just take a moment and notice how you're feeling. If you have a dog nearby, give the dog a little pet. But take a moment to let your body settle onto the mat. Take a couple nice breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. And then I'm going to start with the soft ball. But take the ball, and the ball is going to go underneath your lower back. It's going to go in between the bone of your pelvis and the bone of your ribs, right up next to your spine, but not on your spine. And so when you settle onto it, it almost feels like you're trying to get the ball underneath the top, more superficial layer of muscle on the spine. We're trying to release this muscle that's a little deeper called your QL. And once you're there, usually it feels pretty tender when you get it in the right spot. You just allow your body to rest onto the ball. Feel the breath. Let your breath move in. Let your breath move out. And you can add in little movements where you take your legs and gently let your knees sway over to the side that the ball is on. You can do a couple of those. You can take your hips, you can rock your pelvis back and press into the ball. And so if you're doing this and you don't feel a whole lot, you might need to try moving the ball a little higher or a little lower. If that's still not working, you might actually want a firmer ball if you have that option. Although I do find that the lacrosse ball is too hard for most people. Another option would be to take your leg and pull your leg in towards your chest on that side. And then as you're here, just allowing your body to relax, sinking into the sensation that you're feeling, breathing. And you can take really as long, as you want with this. Most people will feel like it starts to release and get a little bit easier as you're here. So once you've felt that, you might want to adjust the ball a little bit. And then when you feel like you're done with that side, you'll move the ball. And then just check in with how you're feeling through both sides of your body. Feeling the difference between the side that you released and the other side. Feels a lot more open, more space. Sometimes you'll feel like you're flatter to the mat on that side. And then you'll do the other ones. The ball will go in between the rib and the pelvis. Again, not directly on the spine, off to the side slightly. And relax as you're there. You can do some movement of your legs, those little leg sways. You can do a pelvic tilt where you roll your pelvis back into the ball and then release. Noticing any differences that you might feel side to side. And you can move that ball up a little higher or a little bit lower if you like. Again, you could hug that leg in towards your chest. And then when you're ready to come off of it, let that leg come down, move the ball. See how that feels, comparing that sensation in your body side to side. Maybe let the legs sway side to side. And then we're going to move down for a release for the glutes, for the buttocks. So the first thing you'll do is you will take the ball, whichever one you want to use, and you might want different ones for different muscles or different areas. So we're going to put the ball up pretty high in the upper part of the glute, so next to your sacrum, but pretty high up in the upper buttock. And then just letting your body rest down onto that ball. If your hips feel kind of uneven there, you can take your other hand and put your other hand under your hip. And then you can come into those small movements again here. You could come into the pelvic tilt. You can do little leg sways. And then as you're feeling ready to, you'll take the ball and move it out a little bit further towards your hip, out to the side a bit more. Let your body relax down. Add in the tilts, the little pelvic tilt movements. Adding in a sway of the legs. And then continue to move the ball out a little further out to the side. So we're really working along that top upper part of the buttock muscles. And if you feel like there's spots that feel tighter and you want to spend longer on them, totally fine to do that. When you find those tight spots, remembering just to breathe and relax into them. And then continuing moving the ball out even a little further. And really going with how it feels for you. I'm feeling pretty tight in this outer part of my hips. I'm kind of rolling out to the side a little bit. A little further than you might go if you're not as tight out there. Let the legs shift to the side. Roll the pelvis back. Breathe. And then from there, your next spot will be the center of the buttock on that side. So kind of like the bullseye. This is more of the deep hip rotators, the piriformis muscle that we're getting into. So for this one, you might want to kind of roll around, see where you find a tight spot. Oftentimes it'll jump right out at you. And then let your body relax, and then let your knee open if you want. For this one, you wouldn't want to feel any pain going down your leg. So if you're on the sciatic nerve, it can be you can irritate things a little bit. So definitely listening to that, it should feel intense, but shouldn't feel like it's sharp or shooting or going down your leg at all. If it is, just back off, move the ball to a slightly different position. So the opening out to the side can feel good. Just holding pressure on it is also fine. And you could also take your foot and bring your foot over your opposite knee. That usually amps it up a little bit. That's a lot more intense for me right now. So just breathing into that. And then when you feel like you're done with that side, you can move the ball. Notice how that feels. And then we move the ball to the other side. So the ball will go up pretty high next to the sacrum. Let your body relax. Come into some small movements of the pelvis. Little pelvic tilts. Little leg sways. Breathe. And then taking your time as you work the ball out towards the outer part of your body. So you're on those upper glute muscles, not on the bones, but really in the muscle of the hip. Rolling the pelvis back, moving the hips a bit, letting the legs sway. Continuing to work that ball out to the outer part of the hip. Breathing into those places that feel tight. Noticing how the sensation of breathing feels in your body. So the feeling of breathing in, the feeling of breathing out. Keep moving the ball out towards the outer part of the hip if that feels tight for you. And then from there, moving the ball and putting it right in the center of that glute. You can roll around and pause there. Let your body relax into it. Again, with this one, you're looking for the places that feel tight, so feel free to adjust the ball, just avoiding anything that was nervy or radiating down your leg. We would not want to do that. Let your leg open out to the side. That turnout will usually increase what you're feeling. You could also go foot over your opposite knee. And very common for one side to be tighter than the other. You could always find a second spot if you wanted to. And then when you feel like you're done, and take your time, just let your body settle back onto the mat. Take a couple more just breaths here. So breathing in, breathing out. Feeling the sensation of your hips and your back. You might want to stretch each side here after releasing them. Thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful.